Hi there. Let's talk about growing up and how truth matters. Welcome to Truth Talk Wisdom Walk with C.A. Curtis. I'm Carolyn. Dear boys and girls, daughters and sons, when Jack and Jill went up that hill to fetch a pail of water, there was no question that Jack was a boy and Jill a girl. In Mother Goose rhymes, boys were all about snips and snails and puppy dog tails, while girls were sugar and spice and everything nice. But that was last century. We were 5 people in a sparse 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, but we knew who we were. We were family, living in town with our roots in farm country. Climbing trees and walking the fence was part of my growing up. Did you play in the dirt? Yeah, loved playing in the dirt. Roads scratched in the dirt for toy cars was a joint project with my brother. Alone with my dolls, I played many roles, from Snow White to the wicked stepmother and the prince coming to rescue the princess. This was before the princess had to rescue the prince. So what was I while climbing trees? Or playing the prince? Was I a boy, a tomboy, or a girl, or all of the above? Thank God, no one suggested I was a boy, or could or should be a boy. We girls pretended to be the prince or princess as a matter of convenience, but we knew we were girls. No parent or teacher labeled us as anything else. Rescued by alert moms from a pedophile at 4, and a 3rd-grade boy at 5, left me confused about being grabbed and trapped. But I felt vindicated and empowered when I was rescued. But having no words for what happened, I said nothing to Mom, and the memory faded. Mom kept my sister, brother, and I busy at the city library. We took first aid classes. I would be the victim, they'd have to wrap me up. We went to scouting groups, park outings, and musicals. We knew we were loved. Our weekends and vacations were regular adventures to visit extended family on the farms in Texas and Idaho. We were a 50s family. When we moved to a safer part of town, I felt clumsy and self-conscious about my homemade plain clothes. In school, tears streamed my face. "You're ugly," Miss Stencil snarled after scolding me for being late for morning choir practice. Injustice stung my soul. It was my job. Laundry was at the back door to hang on the clothesline. I worked fast, but not fast enough. Did anyone care? Music rescued me that afternoon. As the class sang "My Blue Heaven," the happy words wrapped me in family warmth until somewhere over that rainbow lifted my heart above the troubles, and I could breathe again. Home was a safe space where neighbors brought potluck and we kids played kick the can outside after dark. And then we moved again. As an awkward preteen thrust into Gardena, California, the 7th grade blurred past. In the big city, danger even lurked in the lunchroom. "What are you looking at?" the tall girl demanded, glaring down at me. Her friends surrounded me, moved closer. I think you're beautiful," I stammered. It was true. She was beautiful, and that's why I was staring. But she was only beautiful on the outside. She shrugged and they brushed past me. I didn't know about queen bees. She qualified and I was not part of her hive or race. I was not welcome. Danger lurked also in trusting a classmate's brother to drive my friend and I home from school. She escaped out the back of my house, ran around and rang the doorbell and rescued me from assault in the living room. Never again. Street smart was a necessity. Learned fast or else. And I was way out of my league. With both parents working, we were left to ourselves. My body had matured early and boys paid attention, asking me to go steady. Flattery soon turned to frustration. They expected privileges, which I rejected one after another, until I rejected the idea of going steady. La Mirada, the next neighborhood, felt safer. I was younger than the other kids. It was just as well, since, unbeknownst to me, the gang of high school boys were trouble in waiting. Their invite to my 12th birthday party introduced them to Mom's cookies, which they stood in line for all evening. They just were heart-hungry for a mom. Girls were upset that Mom got all the attention. The next party was even better, with homemade donuts. And it was protective, as I was like a kid sister, so those boys left me in peace. Thank God. Meanwhile, at middle school, walking naked in line, dripping wet from forced showers, was required before earning a towel from the PE teacher. It was weird. It was embarrassing, and it was a gruesome inspection of our pubescent bodies, far worse than eating alone at lunch. Acting in school plays and success at stopping unwanted advances from boys gave me confidence. Without a thought of my safety, I even faced down a gang of girls bullying an unpopular white girl, and we both walked away intact. Probably because I was the youngest of the family, I had to talk my way, no doubt, out of many things. In time, I began to fit in and ran for class president against Gordon. Hi, Gordon, if you're out there any place. Our world was not ready for a female president. At the time, I thought maybe if I had run for vice president, I'm sure I would have won. Thankfully, at the neighborhood dance, I said no to pot. Entering the new Norwalk High School divided our neighborhood, as the older kids attended Excelsior High School with my brother. It was time to make new friends. As the library monitor, I checked out and shelved books. Good books had a strong influence, very strong influence on me. I'm so grateful we didn't have the books that you have today. The Diary of Anne Frank was a stark example of hope and injustice. Her brief life and heart longings were made even more graphic by the stacks of black and white photos spread across my neighbor's kitchen table. Holocaust victims. I had some idea of it by reading Anne Frank's book, but to see the pictures, these victims, just dead bodies, black and white photos piled high, bodies piled high, skeletal men and women forced to stand in line. The evil forces of the National Socialist Workers' Party, that's what Nazi means, they were real, as are the international socialists today. We do damage to justice and ourselves when we ignore history. These true stories of heroic victims and survivors were about the harsh reality and resilience of people. Their stories helped me want to be strong and move forward in good times and hard times ahead. Spare yourself hard times. Never be led into a stranger's back room or an odd situation, unaware of hidden agendas. What if the internet was my source instead of history in the books, like Love Against Hate by Dr. Carl Menninger? Would I have had an identity crisis as a clumsy, humiliated sixth grader or an embarrassed teenager? Would I have rejected being a girl because I had to fight boys off or be rescued from a pedophile? Every generation has its challenges, some far worse than others. This generation faces the awful challenge of rejected reality about identity. At school, a teacher may ask, "Have you chosen your pronouns yet?" You can be a he, she, it, they, them. today and something else tomorrow. It's all about acceptance. Whoever you feel or think you are is accepted here. Feelings come and go like the wind. A counselor or doctor may say, "You're in the wrong body. You'll feel better after a transition with drugs or surgery." You may temporarily feel better despite serious future side effects like arrested bone development, infertility, vocal changes, blood clots, cancer, aggression, female aggression when they're taking testosterone. We've had some shootings. Need to look into that. How about male pattern baldness from taking testosterone? Or cardiovascular disease? Drugs always have side effects. Growing through the rapid bodily changes of puberty fixes most of the challenges of puberty. Puberty blockers just prolong the challenge. Do feelings matter more than your future ability to have children or experience normal sexual pleasure? Are your feelings today more important than family or future mental and physical health? Do you really want to be neutered or castrated? You may want to reconsider. Since population control experts were dead wrong, we are not overpopulated. Depopulation is a concern. Some nations are paying women to have babies. Notice, it is women being paid. Real men do not birth babies. Meanwhile, what happened to informed consent? When can a child or young adult consent to an altered future which guarantees lifelong physical problems? Doctors know the surgeries and drugs do not make the lie true. Our human body is intricately designed with complexity in each system, which makes a male different from a female. The external, internal, and hormonal treatments do nothing to change one's DNA. As mentioned before, teachers, counselors, and doctors were misinformed, pressured, and silenced if they disagreed with the trans agenda. When you can lose your job for saying biological facts, many choose to stay silent. Today, facts are easily dwarfed by fiction. A troubled, lonely student looking for answers is only a click away from any false promise to make them feel better temporarily, make their pain go away. And anything you click on brings more of the same. Another child or adolescent begins to doubt his or her DNA identity. It is as if identity snatchers are roaming free. All it takes is one search word. Children and youth are drawn away, hearing and believing lies about what is humanly possible for anyone. Parents are told to go along with their child's feelings or lose their child to suicide. Not true. Facts about identity crises are suppressed, and identity theft became a protected enterprise of experts and a big business. And that's what happened to Chloe Cole. She was exposed to internet transgender platforms at age 11. And as she struggled with her body image, she began to transition and call herself a boy at 12. And her medical team had her on testosterone and puberty blockers at 13, with a double mastectomy at 15. And then, at 16, she learned about the normal struggles of adolescence. And she reclaimed herself as a female. Chloe describes the side effects as unbearable and continues to suffer from the misuse of medical procedures and medications. Chloe is now on a mission to protect other children from medical and child abuse, which she experienced. Hearing her tragic story inspired me to write a poem. Because trans identity is trendy and popular, it takes effort to explore What influences the rejection of one's healthy body? Is it a way to join the tribe, be popular or accepted, or reduce social pressure in an awkward phase of development? Early factors may include autism, rejection by a parent who wanted an opposite-sex baby, or a parent who rejects his or her own body. Some girl may think, if I become a male, no man can hurt me. A male may think, if I become a female, I won't be a toxic male. Molestation or abuse also factor into shame, guilt, and self-rejection. This issue skyrocketed from just a few boys with gender confusion, which usually resolved after puberty, into a social trans movement. It only happened because male gender confusion was renamed a right for anyone stressed about puberty changes or other problems. Then our tax dollars and government agency pressure promoted the trans trend. Meanwhile, trans clinics have closed in Europe, and affirming care therapy, which promoted transitions, is now discredited for not treating the whole person and the core issues. We can know our value and purpose. Our design is complex and unique. Who we are is encoded in each cell, system, and organ, and is good enough. Feeling miserable and awkward are normal at times, while shame and guilt are common. We are more than our feelings, and feelings inform us, but do not have to control our life choices. For you who were or are misled by false teachers and influencers, you are of great value and loved by God. I wish I could sit with you and listen to what happened to grieve your heart and soul, what happened to hurt you and cause a rejection of your body and your name. The path through adolescence is about growing and learning as your body matures. Sometimes the path is smooth and sometimes it's rocky, and potholes and pitfalls are there to avoid. Sometimes you're hijacked by predators, left torn and broken. Healing takes time and recovery is painful. But keep moving forward. The difficult path leads you toward the opportunities of adulthood, where you have more strength and power to reach your goals and dreams. Every painful thing that happened to me has served to help me reach other wounded people with hope for their own healing. We help each other heal, and we help each other grow. The internet is full of false promises by people with issues and agendas. The trans identity makes millions off of pretending to change females to males or males to females. The body changes guarantees lifelong medical problems for you and income for the industry. Many are not informed with facts about the long-term negative effects of what the drugs and surgeries do to your body. I am sorry you were lied to about your identity. Many teachers and counselors were also misled and pressured to accept the trans agenda. I too felt pressured to shut up, but didn't. Turn to adults you trust who will tell you the truth and walk with you through whatever you're facing. It'll be a challenge, but you're stronger than you know. You have the power to accept and embrace your design, encoded in every cell. You deserve a future free from those who would profit off of filling you with drugs and irreversibly damaging your body. Please pause. Turn off the trans influencers. Stop scrolling. Breathe. Reclaim your design. Your life is sacred. You are the treasure within your body, a spirit with a living soul. Practice self-control to protect yourself and others from untamed passions. Never use others or let others use you to satisfy greed or lust. Love truth. more than false promises or good feelings. Ask your Creator to reveal the truth about who you are and His love for you. Guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Creator designed you for life, to share life and give life. Protect innocence and value virtue. Reclaim what has been stolen from you by the devourer. Be healed, be whole, be free. Identity Theft, my poem, is dedicated to Chloe Cole and the courageous boys and girls, daughters and sons, men and women who were influenced to transition and are now detransitioning to reclaim their true sexual XX or XY DNA identity. Identity theft. Promises made which cannot be kept. The trans cure for pain. Male or female to dissect. To help and to heal. Is it good that they meant? As reality was traded for identity theft. A shortcut to therapy and not attend root cause. For deep pain, fear, and sadness or confusing adolescent blahs. Awkward or gangly, not quite fitting in. Here's a group you can join, just ignore what's real within. A charade and pride parade, pretense to claim is right. Whatever does truth matter, as long as it is night. Yet the promises they made could not ever be kept. Deep pain, fear, and sadness grow. Their treatments prove inept. Seek healing that you need. Explore and face root cause. Be courageous and reclaim reality's natural laws. Only truth sets free, no matter what your plight. Your identity was stolen. You have just cause to fight. Truth matters, and you matter. Love truth, be grateful, and do good. And thank you for joining this journey. Until we meet again. And just to remind you, because of the seriousness of this issue, the views expressed on Truth Talk Wisdom Walk are presented for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only, and are not intended as medical, nutritional, health, psychological, or professional advice. Because you matter and you are unique, no therapist-patient relationship is created by this presentation or article or by any responses to comments posted in any related forum. Consult a qualified healthcare professional that will tell the biological truth before making any decisions based on the content. Until we meet again.